There we are. Welcome to your Monday. We've opened the name. It's not Monday Mindset, Monday Club, Monday Motivation, Monday Mindset. It's all similar. I've gone a little bit off piste today. Um, is it off piste? I'm not sure it is. We're going to be talking about food, gut health. And this is something that I'm saying I'll be forever on a journey with, but it feels like the mind, the spirituality is just it's almost become so ingrained and takes care of itself now that my focus for growth is has turned back towards the physical body. Now the physical body and food and exercise is something that I have tentatively come back to with a completely different mindset, using all of the mindfulness and the spirituality because I've always had quite a destructive self-hatred, food control, all of that. So it's become such a big part of my life this last, say, 9 months or so, in that a really healthy connection back with food. I've done a couple of little courses similar to my courses, but around food, where I'm just receiving all of this information, and it's really having a positive impact. So I thought I would share that too, and I do talk and believe a lot about the physical body and the mind body connection. Um, and I can now feel, if I tend to just eat whatever the hell I want of the weekend. When I'm around the girls, very mindful that I don't want them to see any restrictions going on. But what I'm noticing now is on the Monday, Tuesday, I'm paying for it, both mentally and physically. So I just thought I would share what I know so far. I'm not a nutritionist. But I'm becoming just more and more passionate, and it all makes sense. The pen is struggling. So, food and mental health, I thought would be the angle that I would take, with a little bit of spirituality weaved in, of course. Um, so particularly, I just want to focus on the impact of processed foods. Um, I got a book off my shelf that I was going to go. I'll pop it in the link. It's Chris Van Tuken, is it? Ultra processed people, probably aware of it. He did a program with him and his twin brother as well. So I will send those links in. I haven't actually watched the program. Um, but yeah, the harmful dangers of processed foods. So before we just dive in, maybe just take a moment to think about your relationship with food. That kind of just jot down, if you have got your journal, how it makes you feel emotionally, mentally, spiritually. We can pop back to that. Don't have to do a big, just whatever drops in. Um, and really, why it's important is we never used to have access to all of this food. Even I look at my children now, and going to the shop after school might have happened once a week, maybe not so much in high school. But even then, the selection, you would get like a freeze pop or something, or yeah, the selection wasn't the same, and it's more and more you would have this or that. Whereas I know you see when you go in and kids are buying all sorts and all these horrible drinks that we've got. But it really does shape how we think, how we feel, and as we talked about a couple of weeks ago about the self-esteem and respect that we have within ourselves when we commit to ourselves that we will do something like physically, the processed food is it's just really harmful and disrespectful to our body as well. So this mind body connection is it strengthens. There's lots and lots of research out there on gut health. So it's often referred to as the second brain. There's lots of people now arguing that it is the first brain for our role of emotions. It creates such a critical role in our mental health. So the gut does produce neurotransmitters like serotonin, which regulate our mood. This blew my mind. So, poor gut health, poor diet can lead to increased anxiety, depression, and stress. I thought for years serotonin, the dopamine, the oxytocin is all coming from up here. It's actually being released from the gut as well. Um, so the gut brain it's called the gut brain axis. So it's a communication system. So just like all the stuff that you've learned about the nervous system, the brain, the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, the gut and the brain have a direct communication link as well. I don't know why this initially blew my mind. So I'm like, oh yeah, all the organs are like talking to the brain. But um, as I've become more embodied and more, I've always been very, very dissociated with my body. Um, and the more that I've kind of worked on that relationship with my body from a mental health perspective, um, it's like, of course, they're always talking. Everything is linked. Whereas I always thought the stomach, the gut, it's just like, oh, it's this round bit, it's this flabby bit. Like I was so disconnected from it. Um, so yeah, so disruptions to the gut will affect our mental health, our mood, and our clarity, energy. That's what I'm finding the most, the energy levels. Um, but yeah, 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 I don't know why I was going to go with the but. I don't know. I don't know why the but came. So probiotics and prebiotics. Oh yeah, that's what I was to say. It wasn't a but. Obviously, processed foods wreak havoc because it's like putting like foreign bodies. Now, I did an amazing course with a lovely, so lovely. I found her on a little corner of Instagram, Ruth O'Keefe. Just gorgeous, lovely, yeah, just amazing woman. And she talked about the 80-20 approach. So she was like, now a lot of the population are 80% processed foods. I'll get on to exactly what processed food is. Um, and 20% whole foods, and we need to shift that. So that's kind of what I've been working on, shifting it. I didn't really realize how much processed stuff I was having. Because I thought, well, processed foods like Mackies and like frozen stuff and like sausages and I don't eat meat. It's like pretty good. Anyway, we'll come on to that, what it is. So the probiotics and the prebiotics, like kefir, kimchi, kombucha. Yeah, thinking back to that course I did. She talked about the 3Ks. Really, really good to get in daily. Um, so these can help with the microbiome to maintain that healthy microbiome, which will increase our mood and energy. So high sugar and processed carbohydrates, processed, not carbs. I'm still undoing a lot of Atkins damage from the late 90s, early 2000s, where like carbs were the devil. They're not. processed carbohydrates. They've been linked to mood swings. There's loads of research out there, energy crashes, and especially, yeah, it's all the processed stuff. Process. So we get on this blood sugar roller coaster. So we'll get a rapid spike, and then we get the irritability, the brain fog, and emotional instability. So we've also got anti-inflammatory foods. So we get every disease is to do with inflammation. I did a little bit of work last summer with Farah Dudson. No, is her name? She's on my Instagram. We did like a little live together. And we did a little bit of collaboration with clients. As she's huge on chronic inflammation. She's actually an optometrist, and everything like glaucoma, inflammation, IBS, inflammation, arthritis, inflammation. Every disease will come to there is inflammation. So we really want to look at, and again, inflammation is fueled by processed foods, and linked to like depression, anxiety. So anti-inflammatory foods, which are your whole foods, your fruit, your vegetables, and healthy fats, can help reduce the inflammation caused by the inflammatory foods. So always think, if you want to begin like this, I'm not saying go and chuck everything out, just becoming maybe aware of what it is you are eating, and always add to. So if you are having like pizza and some chips, add loads and loads of salad to it. So, and again, this is what Ruth taught me, there's just go gentle, but always add in. So we're combating that inflammatory response. If you want to have the biscuit, have the biscuit, but then have like lots of fruit, or a handful of nuts, something that's going to and like counteract the inflammatory response that you've just popped into your body. So, what is processed foods? So these are anything that's been altered from their natural state. Now, that means they might have been canned, jarred, or frozen. That is not to say that those are really, really bad. Frozen berries, canned chickpeas, tinned tomatoes, some pickles, some capers, those sorts of things aren't bad. It's not, although they are processed, they're not ultra processed. So they won't have had lots of preservatives added. So it's not like sugary snacks, and your like ready-made frozen meals and packaged cereals. They're the main culprits. Um, they often add chemicals, and preservatives, which again is disrupting hormones, it's disrupting our microbiome, everything. And then now there's so much research now on hyperactivity and ADHD in children. We've seen such a rise, and we were like that generation, or we were the invention of the microwave, weren't we? Our mums grew up love them. My mum did always do like meat and veg dinners. She'd cook dinners, but it was like, oh my God, this invention's going to save my life. It's going to change my life. Like, ping! Trans fats. Now, trans fats are different to saturated fats. Trans fats are what have had hydrogen added to an oil to make it a solid. These are really, really, really dangerous. These are the ones that are linked to cholesterol, diabetes, strokes, cardiovascular stuff, often found in the sugary snacks, processed fats, the baked goods that are processed, not so much the ones that you will find in a fresh bakery, but fast food as well. So they've got a lot of sodium in. There's a great app called Yuka, Yuka. It's got a little carrot on it. It's an app. You can scan it. It will give you a rate, and this is what, because I couldn't be in the supermarket checking everything out. And because I'm quite extreme, I was like, oh, I can't have chickpeas. It's got some salt in it. You can have chickpeas. It's fine. Um, so trans fats have a direct high blood pressure, literally goes in our body and our fight flight. It's like our physical fight flight is activated, the inflammation starts. Our bodies don't know the difference between grabbing a snack from the garage and being poisoned. Like, it is like poison, all these ultra processed foods. Anything that you can't, the Yucca app's great. If it's got something in it that you cannot buy off the supermarket shelf, it's generally a bad idea. So if it's got maltodextrin, glycosucre, blah, 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 the really long things, and you'll start noticing, you may already know a lot of this. If it's got all of those things that you can't pronounce, and you won't find them in your kitchen cupboard or on the shelf at the supermarket, and definitely not in a whole food shop, generally stay away. Addiction, like, oh my gosh, the processed foods and sugar is like crack. Um, we crave them more when we're even not physically hungry. There's a big emotional tie, which can lead to, it doesn't make us full. Have you ever binged on bananas, strawberries, and yeah, bananas, strawberries, and I don't know, something else that's good for you, chickpeas? You just don't. It doesn't create that same um, need for more because our body's digesting it. They have made it so slick that our bodies don't need to digest. Our bodies don't need to work to digest these processed foods. They're just like done. Phew. So, so yeah. We don't. I don't know if you've noticed, but when if you ever do have a Macca's or something processed, like within an hour you're starving again. It's not like real food. Um, so I'm consuming it over and over again, like thinking about that 80-20 split. Um, depression and low mood. It's so much out there. Um, but also from a spiritual approach, that mindful eating, like and loads of spiritual practices, yogic traditions. Food is medicine. I think we forget this. Just grab it. Some mindfulness with food, like mindfully being present with your food. This is something I would grab some, even when it was something good, like I'd make myself some scrambled eggs or have like loads of tomatoes and spinach on a piece of like sourdough or something. And oh yeah, this is great. Picking up my phone while I'm eating it or I'm carrying on the laptop. Really bad. It's like a biggest check that if you can mindfully eat, no distraction, engage and be present for your food. Also on preparing meals, like thinking about all of that goodness and how you're nourishing your body, as opposed to, I'm not a massive fan of cooking. COVID and motherhood, my relationship, I used to like it when I was like, I didn't have to do it so much. Like, oh, it felt like almost like a bit of an artistic experience. And then when it became like, oh, I have to like two, three meals a day and snacks in between, and COVID, I just felt like I was constantly in that kitchen, just feeding everybody. So cooking again is something that I'm working on of it being like an honor, a gift, nourishing my body and stopping all of the, don't know about you, but I will eat so much of like the ingredients and stuff that I'm preparing as I'm cooking. And I sit down at the table, I'm like, I'm actually not hungry now. So again, being present with the preparation of your food, not just the final piece, but thinking of it as like an act of love. Thinking about like so I've brought in, like the non-negotiables we have for ourselves on a daily basis. What's our non-negotiable that we honor ourselves? Um, Mine is also smooth, it's a smoothie of like all the goodness. Um, Really watching out, I was shocked by processed foods of like vegan and vegetarian, even the oat milks and the nut milks. A lot of them have got oil added to them. So really being careful with that. Oat milk is really, really easy to make. Yeah. But like oats are so, so cheap. Literally running water through the oats. I don't know, you've got oat milk. Might not be as thick and creamy as what you're buying off the shelf, but that's because it hasn't got all the shit added to it. So mindfully eating, um, don't think about the amount. Well, you can do. For me, it's a bit of a trigger. But I was always told to like chew like 15 times. But I couldn't physically, it would be so mushy. I was like, um, but just not racing it down, oh my God, I've got to get back to work, eating on the go, trying to minimize that, being present, so you can slow down so that this kind of digestive process, just having that respect for what your body's about to work, to sift through, for what nutrients they're going to take to put back into your body, to convert into the energy, and what they're going to just pop onto the waste pile because it's just rubbish. So just kind of taking that deep breath, that food in front of you, just express like that. And again, these lovely spiritual practices of, people that like say grace before their food. Um, of that honoring of food. I'm not suggesting you sit and start I mean you can if you want to, um, say grace. Um, but just taking that moment, and also like I've just made this for myself. Um, and the nutrients it's going to provide. So yeah, that kind of creating the balance, consciously choosing the nourishing whole foods. So whole foods are, well, things that haven't been tampered with. Um, so yeah, all of the, your vegetables, your nuts, your seeds, the yogurt, again, like a Greek yogurt is far better than all these like flavored vanilla, strawberry, cherry. A lot of those will have like so much additional ingredients in it. Um, you know, Greek yogurt with a little bit of um like the frozen berries, some oats overnight, some chia seeds, um, scrambled eggs or Sorry for vegan. Like mashed up avocados, chickpeas, always got chickpeas in the fridge now. Like I'll roast them on a roasting tray and they're just like snacks, always in the fridge. Um, Always ready, like drained. And it sounds ridiculous, but when you just look and you think, oh, what am I gonna make? They're drained and they're fridge, like in the fridge, in like also glass is better than plastic. Plastic affects our hormones. But I haven't like just got rid of all of my plastic. I still have some, but trying to put stuff in glass jars now. Um, and just throwing it in, adding it, just thinking about, right, what can I add to this? So, if you are smashing up some avocado to have on a piece of toast, thinking, right, can I add some cherry tomatoes here? Could I add a little bit of rocket, a little bit of spinach? It's just, we don't want to get in the mindset of taking away, like adding, sprinkle of seeds. Seeds are amazing. They're like a little mop for all of our intestine, our bowel, our colon. Like it just gives a little. When I eat seeds, I think of the drain unblocker. And yeah, if you haven't eaten seeds and you suddenly going to start eating seeds, it will have almost like a laxative effect as well. Hydration, good hydration. Get yourself a water filter, drinking all of that water. Um, so and I love that, like connecting with the food and eating mindfully just really seals in this mind body experience and healing through food. Like food has real healing properties. I've touched on the anti-inflammatory effects, but also there is so much out there. And like I said, I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not going into like all the magnesium and the different vitamins and minerals and what they do. But choosing like that whole food diet with minimally processed stuff, like I say, that 20%, the oils that you're using, make sure that they're really, really good. Um, like extra virgin olive oil. I know that the price has spiked. I actually water down my olive oil, like from financial point of view as well. It's like God, it is expensive now. I get that. And then we've got all these like other rapeseed oils and sunflower oils, and these are the ones that tend to have a lot of hydrogen or aren't great for us. But they're a cheaper option. So like you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Um, but they wreak havoc with hormones as well. Um, and in a lot of spiritual practices, these whole foods are believed to raise vibration, to like help with the pineal gland and the third eye and all of the spiritual practices. So incorporate more grains, incorporate like there's so many amazing like flapjack type things that you can make for like those sweet treats, like pecan banana, like muffins, and I get that it's time, but this is where we've been hooked in. Haven't got time, haven't got time. And I've noticed just like working those like 2 days employed and then fitting in, my course and my business around that. um, I can see old little habits coming back in. Like, oh God, I haven't really got time for that. So yeah, look for a colourful plate as well. Eat the rainbow. Um, limit all of the processed stuff. Practice a little bit of gratitude for a meal and hydrate like the clarity and energy levels from water. Add a little slice of lemon or some cucumber into your water. Um, and yeah, I think that's it. So just maybe think about current eating habits. This could be a little journaling. What are your current eating habits like? And how you might start making a small change. Just think of one. You don't have to go wild. But if there is something, for me, I was like eating and it's packaged as okay, but like the raisin granola, it's packed full of sugars, literally, and it doesn't take time. Like once you get in the practices, this kind of like, oh, I haven't got time mindset falls away in the same as finding 5 minutes a day for yours. If it's 5 or 50 minutes a day for your meditation, it's like I can make that time. Like literally throwing loads of oats on a baking tray, adding some seeds to it, and some coconut oil, um, baking it. There's your granola. It's no processed crap in that. Um, and it's cheaper. It's actually cheaper than buying like £2.79 bag of granola and vanilla yogurt. That was like, and I was like, well, I'm having like granola and yogurt, but it was so processed. It's just those small little swaps. Anyway, um, that's kind of it in a nutshell. I will send links on my recording to the things that I've mentioned, some amazing podcasts out there as well. Um, so yeah, hope you've enjoyed the little off-piste gut brain, but all connected. And I will see you on Thursday on meditation. Have a great week.